Hi everyone, today we will be going over 6th grade lesson 37 for our Elevate group. This lesson is on dividing decimals. Today we will see decimals in different parts of our problem. It can be in our divisor, it can be in our dividend, or it can be in both. The lesson starts out with using area models to show why decimal division works. And so because the lesson starts out with that conceptual understanding, we are going to model it for students. And if there's a question to model, it would be this question right here. So you can say 1.8 divided by 3. Some students may say 1 8/10 divided by 3. I think for the ultimate success of this lesson, we might want to say 18/10 divided by 3. Why? Because students may see the decimal and say, wow, this lesson is going to be very, very hard. I don't know what to do. However, we are going to rely on their strengths in whole number division to leverage their success today. So you can have them think of the number 18 instead of 1.8, or 1 8/10, right? And so students are thinking about 18, so they will also think about 18 divided by 3. Relying on their 3 times tables, most of your students by this point, with all the sprints we've been doing, should be able to say, okay, 18 divided by 3 is 6, right? And so if 18/10 divided by 3 is presented to us, then that means our answer will be 6, keeping our unit tenths. And so in our area model, what we see is that we have 1 8/10 modeled for us, or we have 18/10 that have been shaded for us. In order to break up or divide these 18/10 into 3 parts, we would need groups of 6/10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's one group of 6/10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's our other group of 6/10. And then here is our third group of 6/10. And that is how you would model it to students on the area model, okay? The other piece of our lesson that we are focused on is the long division. If you jump to the practice, most of the questions students are practicing, or pretty much all of the questions students are practicing, rely on their long division skills. Now, the beauty of this lesson, again, is that a lot of the divisors that we are working with are numbers that they have been using to skip count on their sprint sheet, right? So we got 8, we got 7, we have 4, 9, 6, 5, right? So students are going to rely on that knowledge from what they did on their sprint to help them divide these decimals evenly, right? It's their basic number facts. So you are just going to spend time modeling for them how to do that, right? So you can do this question as a model, and you can say, okay, well, we have to divide 1 4/10 divided by 2, or 14/10 divided by 2. Class, if we're dividing 14/10 by 2, what number can we think about to help us with this equation? Students will say, okay, well, instead of 1.4, we can think about 14. Okay, so class, if we are thinking about 14, our new equation would be 14 divided by 2. Class, what's 14 divided by 2? 7. Awesome. Now, this number wasn't 14 though. No. Can someone explain to me or tell me how to rewrite this number in unit form? Well, this number can be rewritten as 14/10. Okay, 14 tenths divided by 2. Well, class, if 14 divided by 2 is 7, then what's 14 tenths divided by 2? 14 tenths divided by 2 is 7 tenths. You can continue to have them think about it conceptually. Or another way that a lot of teachers do it is they tell the students to ignore the decimal point. So instead of putting 1 4/10 in the dividend, teachers will just say, okay, do 2 divided by 14. Students will know that 2 times 7 gives them 14, and they'll subtract, okay? Now, then teachers will say, well, the number wasn't 14, the number was 1 4/10. So what should we do? Well, students will say we should then bring our decimal point back up. So our answer is 0.7, or our answer is 7 tenths, which is what we said here. Okay. The other thing to note for students is that, yes, this is an easy lesson, but one of the biggest rules that they should remember is that we can never, ever, 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 ever have a decimal as our divisor. So when we say 3 6/10 divided by 4/10, we will have to rewrite this problem. Okay? We will have to figure out how to make 4/10 into a whole number. We can make 4/10 into a whole number by multiplying by 10. In other words, we can move that decimal to the end. So instead of 0.4, we're going to make it 4 wholes, right? Whatever we do to the divisor is what we're going to do to our dividend. So this equation becomes 36 divided by 4. Looks very easy. We can keep doing what we've been doing in terms of our division. Now, you have to remind students that when they have a whole number, it can be written as a decimal in the form of 4.0. Okay, that's the same thing as just saying 4. So if I have 0.8 and I want to rewrite it as a whole number, I'm going to move that decimal to the end. The new number becomes 8.0, or just 8. Once that decimal point is after the ones place and every other place value is 0, you can just write it as a whole number of just 8, right? But again, whatever you do to your divisor, if you multiply your divisor by 10, you need to multiply your dividend by 10. If you multiply your divisor by 100, then you also need to multiply your dividend by 100. That is how you maintain equivalency within the equation.